In this video, I'll help answer the question, is Palantir stock still a good buy? So I don't like to do a lot of reviews on the popular stocks or main stocks. I actually like to do a lot of stock reviews you guys recommend, which are sometimes some hidden gems nobody's really heard of. But a lot of customers in Tykr do hold this stock in their portfolio, and I also hold this stock in my portfolio. So I thought, you know what? We should revisit Palantir again because some exciting news has recently happened. In this video, I'll touch on 4 things. Number 1, how does Palantir make money? Number 2, what's the latest news on Palantir? Number 3, what are the latest ratings in Tykr? And number 4, what am I doing with this stock? All right, let's touch on that first one. How does Palantir make money? Well, they're essentially an enterprise SaaS, data analytics enterprise SaaS, essentially is what they're doing. And they have a few revenue streams. If we go to their site here, I always like to look for something like products, solutions, services. In this case, their menu really just highlights them. They've got AIP, Foundry, Gotham, Ontology, and Apollo. Now, there's a few of the revenue streams underneath those higher level categories, but they're just really a nice high level. Now, I'm only really going to touch on 2 here to give you a little more context, and those 2 would be Foundry and Gotham. So on the Foundry side, Foundry is used to serve businesses. And a good example of what they're doing, I'll just kind of keep this high level, is they're helping businesses become more efficient at marketing, sales, and operations. Essentially, how do you help businesses make more money? How do you help businesses become more profitable? And essentially helping optimize all the efficiencies in between. Now, I've worked for a lot of large corporations, and if you have as well, you get it. Like, people are doing repeated steps over and over and over that are not generating revenue. There's also a lot of overlapping communication. This person sends this, and this person sends this person says this. They're all saying the same thing. It's like, why can't we all know what's going on at the exact same time and move forward with a purpose? It just doesn't work that way, depending on the team you have at your employer. But I tell you what, yeah, it would annoy me. Like, didn't we just talk about this? Or you set up that meeting that's like, yeah, I thought we covered this. Anyway, I hope that gives context there. They're helping businesses become more efficient. And check this out. They have quite a resume of clients. And I'm just going to give a short list here. I don't have all their clients, but at the top of the list here, we see Airbus, Boeing, Ferrari, Eaton, Merck, Fiat Chrysler, United Airlines, General Mills, Morgan Stanley, UBS, Lowe's, Walgreens, and Wendy's. Again, just a short list, but those are some large businesses. All right, moving on to the second revenue stream, which is Gotham. So Gotham is serving government organizations, kind of the same situation, helping them run more efficient, but also looking at getting ahead of terrorist threats, also looking at cybersecurity. There are a lot of other revenue streams within that, but that's just really a high level. We're going to touch on some of the news here in a minute to give you a little more context on what they're doing with the Navy. We'll just hold on that for a second. But I want to give you the list of the government clients they have, which includes the U.S. Army, U.S. Navy, U.S. Special Operations, the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, the United Kingdom NHS, and the Ukraine military. Again, this is just a very short list, but it gives you a really good idea of who are they serving. And I'll tell you this, on the government side, I've known this about other businesses over the last 20 plus years, is once you get a government contract, it's kind of yours to lose. What that means is you really have to screw up to lose that customer. The reason is you're bolting on to some pretty sensitive information, and a government organization, especially the FBI or CIA, isn't just going to try you out for like, a month or 2 and say, yeah, it's not working out, we're going to let you go. It's a thorough interview process for sometimes months, if not years. And if you get that customer, it is really yours to lose. So Palantir is creating these long-term relationships that are creating reoccurring enterprise SaaS revenue. It's a very lucrative business model. Now, I will say this, with their services, and this is a really smart place to be, is when you have a SaaS business, especially a B2B SaaS where you're serving businesses, you want to have some kind of human element in the equation. You want to have a team of people working with the businesses, especially at the enterprise level, that are helping with the integrations, they're fielding questions, they're helping if there's any bugs, if there's change requests, if there's features they want. Because if you have an enterprise customer that doesn't have a team to talk to, they can get pretty upset pretty quick if they don't get what they want, and they can churn out. Well, when you have a team on the front line that are, they're meeting if it's not every week, it's every 2 weeks. Like, how are things going? What else can we do? What can we do better? Are there other challenges you're facing? Can we solve those challenges right now? It's those types of conversations that really help with what's most important with the enterprise SaaS business, which is you want to land and expand. What that means is you want to work with a customer, then provide more value to that client, and hopefully upsell so the software you're charging more year over year. For example, let's say in year one, you're charging $1 million a year, which these enterprise contracts can be multi 6 figures, multi 7 figures, sometimes 8 figures and up. So you have a situation where, hey, year one, you charge $1 million, year two, 1.2, year three, 1.4, you get the idea. But you want to land and expand with a great team of people that's helping implement and use the software. It's a really good place to be. All right, so hopefully that gives you a good idea of how does Palantir make money. Again, this is very high level because they got a lot of stuff going on underneath that, but hopefully it gives you a little context there. All right, moving on to the latest news in the company. This is really big news. Check this out. So the Navy, US Navy, has awarded a $448 million contract for Palantir to work on their Ship OS. What it is, it looks like it's going to be used to improve efficiencies through better use of data at the US Navy. Ship OS is the product. $448 million contract. Nice. That is really, really good news for Palantir investors. All right, next up here, they're continuing to expand their artificial intelligence platform, that AIP. And then the last point I'll hit on here is there's a partnership with Nvidia. I mean, if you're going to partner with anybody, Nvidia is pretty much at the top of the list. So with that, they're working on a chain reaction is the name of the initiative to help American AI infrastructure. So what I see in this case is, like, you think of all the data centers being used. I mean, that's really where Nvidia makes a lot of money, is the data centers. It's like, all right, how are we using AI to really optimize that infrastructure? So I see, Palantir and Nvidia is really a nice marriage. They don't compete with each other, but they are very good complements to each other. All right, so overall, a lot of good news there. Now let's move on to Tykr and see what the latest ratings are. As usual, I always tell people you can go to Tykr.com, you can go to education, then down to calculations, and you can see the open source calculations and how we arrive at the scores we're going to talk about in a second. We really just want to be transparent with our customers. Of course, any math nerds out there like me, you can play with those ratings in Excel. All right, so let's walk through the 7. We're not going to click on the button. You can save yourself a ton of time by simply clicking on a stock and clicking on the 7. If you can get a 5 out of 7, that's where you want to arrive. We're going to see what we get here in a second. So let's kind of walk through this manually just so you can see how we calculate these ratings. All right, so stocks in Tykr are either on sale, watch, or overpriced, and only about 15% of stocks make it to on sale. It's very hard to get to. So Palantir is on sale. In order to get to on sale, you need a score of 50 or higher. This is the overall financial strength of a stock. So we're looking at revenue, net income, EPS, free cash, your debts, your liability. There's a few other lines in there as well. But again, if you can get over 50, that's really good. They're at 79. Next up, you also want a margin of safety of 50% or higher, and this is based on the profit growth rate, or essentially the EPS growth rate, and we can see here 80% meets that criteria. So 79 and 80, they're both above 50, which gets us to that on sale. If it's only one is above 50, then it's watch, and of course if both are below 50, then it's overpriced. All right, then in the middle, we're looking at the 4M confidence booster. This is essentially like another layer of confidence to your research, and what this does is, and thanks to Phil Town, Warren Buffett, and Charlie Munger, they kind of, well, I should really lean on Phil Town in this case. He really coined the phrase the 4Ms. So you have the math parts, you have the meaning, which how does a business make money? Then you have the moat, how it compares to other businesses in the same sector and industry. And then you have the management, which is a track record of the CEO. We're not going to go through this. This takes you like a minute. It's kind of an interactive experience with OpenAI, but essentially what it's doing is it's taking hours, if not days of research and reducing it down to seconds. In fact, you don't even need to do it. You can just go look at a stock and you're going to see the averages of the Tykr community. This page here gives you an idea what we're going for. So 80 to 100 is high confidence. 60 to 79 is moderate, and 59 or lower is low confidence. So we're all about that gamification, and Tykr just makes it a lot easier to invest in the market. All right, so I'm going to close this, and we can see here, we're not going to get a point here on the 7 because we want to be 80 or higher. 73 is still pretty good, but We do create a lot of rigor at Tykr, so it is hard to hit these ratings. Again, 80 is where we want to be. 73 is still good, but not quite there. Next up, we scroll down, we're looking at the 5-year returns. Now, we know that past performance does not guarantee future results, but we like businesses that consistently beat the market for 5 years. So a good number to remember is 80%. The S&P 500 typically returns 80% over 5 years, and we want stocks are beating that number. So we can see here, Palantir is at 582. That is outstanding. We're actually almost done. 2 more things to look at out of the 7. Go to the financials tab. The number one most important line on the financial statements, you've got your income statement, cash flow statement, and balance sheet. That number one most important line is EPS, profits of the company, essentially earnings per share. So what you want here to get a point is you need 3 quarters in a row where the EPS is increasing. So we see here, we're at 9 cents, up to 14 cents, and up to 20 cents. That is perfect. That's what we're looking for. Because this number here, if you have a business that's increasing those profits and at the same time moving on to the last step of the 7, they're beating their earnings reports. In most cases, not all cases, but most, the share price will take off. And if you miss, like if you have a business that's not profitable, it's like essentially the Titanic, it's sinking, profits are going down, and it's missing those earnings reports in most cases. Again, not all, but most, the share price does go down. So check this out. They are beating their earnings estimates. This is great. 3 in a row. They have actually quite a few in a row. Last miss looks like 22. So that's the 7. Let's see what our score is. I think we're going to get a 5 or 6 out of 7. We got a 6 out of 7. That is actually very hard to get to. In fact, I'll show you how hard it is right now if we go to assets and then stocks, and we're going to add the filter. And what's nice is in Tykr, you can literally personalize your screener or your dashboard here. You can go to select columns. You can turn on and off what columns you want to see, and then you can arrange the order just like this. But I like to put the 7 right here. I'll show you my order. I like to see the summary, the score, the margin of safety, the 4M, and then the 7. So check this out. We know we want to go for 5 out of 7. Let's see how hard this is. So right now we've got about 57,000 stocks in Tykr. This number changes every day because there are stocks going public and other stocks going back to private. But let's go to 5 out of 7 and let's see what we get. So that's 1,000 out of the 57,000 at our 5 out of 7. Let's see what 6 out of 7, where Palantir sits. 263. That's like a top 1% stock for sure in the market. That's very hard to get to. And then let's go 7 out of 7. Only 32 stocks in the market make it there. That is very, very rigorous. So hopefully that gives you a little pro tip you can use on your own. But this leads to the last point on this video, which is what am I doing with the stock? Well, let's take a look at Palantir. We'll do a little zoom in on their chart. We've had some volatility in the stock market over the last few months, which is great because if there's nothing wrong with the businesses we invest in and they're being pulled down, that's exactly what we want because that's a stockpiling opportunity. If you don't know what that is, when you're in Tykr, when you add stocks to a watch list and those on sale stocks fall, you're going to get a notification that says, hey, this may be a buying opportunity. It doesn't say it is a buying opportunity. It does say you want to check if there's any legal issues or anything wrong with the company. But if there's not, this may be a buying opportunity. But check this out. We're going to go to the 3-month and we can see here their high look like they're at 207. They fell down to 154. Now we're seeing that increase again back up to 180. And these contracts are what's driving that, especially that Navy contract. I mean, you hear news like that they're going to start taking off. Now, the next earnings report, check this out. We can see the estimated future dates here. Next earnings report is on February 1st. If we hear like really good news, like let's say this EPS, it goes from 20 cents up to like 25 or 30 cents. And on top of that, you've got good news with like more contracts. The share price could really take off. So I hold this stock. I'm actually buying more Palantir as we speak. I like that the share price is down a little bit. It's a good like mini stockpiling opportunity. And of course, over the long term, I do see this share price taking off because you look at the business contracts and you look at the government, they are very sticky. And in most cases, again, it's theirs to lose. It's very hard to uncouple that contract because they're so integrated with those businesses. It's nice to have a really sophisticated SaaS platform. If it was a very simple platform like Tykr, you can churn out very easily. But with Palantir, it's very hard to churn out. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. If you want to see ratings on Palantir and other stocks in the market, you can join Tykr for free. If you stayed to the end, thank you. Please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Referrals from friends are one of the best ways to build a business. And of course, don't buy and sell stocks based solely on what you hear. Only buy and sell stocks that align with your own personal financial goals. Thanks for checking out this video. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.